The artist is like a shaman who can reconnect to other realities and recover memories from our collective mind. That is the sacred meaning of art. Recovering the memory of our infinite part and expressing itself from that point, where we are infinite conscience, and where love unites everything as the true creator. Because art is creation, is fractality, is life. Without love, there is no life. And all creative process should be a life process. I mean, in reality, we are all artists without exception. And to become aware of that is to use art to create life instead of using art to destroy it. You know, we all have talents and art is our natural state of expression.
Víctor Brossa, Berlin, 11th November 2009. Quoting the artist, "Art is the result of the free expression of the self, accepting the game of recreating its own reality. Being conscious of this means we use our creative capabilities to recover the power uniting us to the Absolute." Víctor Brossa is a Spanish painter, born in Barcelona and now living in Berlin. His works are clear exponents of what is known as the new figurative school, with elements of surrealism influenced by the likes of Neo Rausch and Daniel Richter. But unlike these, Brossa chooses to project himself, embracing the more transcendental and initiatic aspects of art, with the firm conviction that the act of creation is highly sacred and can help us find our way back to a state of higher awareness. Backing his intuition with the latest scientific discoveries which confirm that the separation between reality and fiction is a delusion of the mind, Brossa paints as a medium, going with the flow, recovering and decoding memories from our collective history. Strongly influenced by the Leipzig school as well as by the abstract paintings of Gerhard Richter, he fuses the figurative and the abstract in his works, confronting both extremes until they harmonise as complementary in the construction of scenes which seem rescued from parallel dimensions. The result is a narrative apparently composed by lines and sections, where the energy of what has been created seems to manifest itself through the subtlety of colours and shapes. In other instances, what appears in front of our eyes are scenes where the well-combined images and symbols seem to tell some secret to our subconscious. This is the artist's way to show that art is an initiatic path to the inner magic which may free us from our collective amnesia. Víctor Brossah's work characteristically develops in a series of paintings overlapping with each other in subtle points. Each series gives a new and wider meaning to the previous one, although often these do not have to unfold in a linear way, as the artist works simultaneously in diverse topics, not only in the field of painting, but also in photography, high-low relief sculpture, digital art or video, as well as being immersed in projects related to his cosmic vision of the human being. For him, time does not exist. It is only a perception from which we can free ourselves in order to observe with the eyes of the soul.
I'm sure that when we think about anything or an idea comes to our mind, what really happens is that we are remembering. Because everything already exists in the big absolute mind, and we are a fractal part of this. Fractal means that inside each part of any singularity, all totality exists in all its potential, like a part of the hologram which contains the whole picture. That's physics. I mean that when we add an emotion to that thought or an idea which generates enough concentration of energy, then we are creating, materializing something that could be a painting or anything in our three-dimensional world. You know, we are using art all the time without being aware, because we are creating our reality with our thoughts and our emotions, always, all the time. And when you paint or play music, or are creative in any way with more awareness, then you are connecting with the creative process of intended form. The key is precisely to become aware of this, to use art to our benefit, to become the conscient wizards of our creations, using art for remembering and to recreate us. That's all.
Victor works in Berlin and Barcelona, but it is during his travels when he collects and blends the feelings and experiences feeding his multicultural soul. A lover of Taoist philosophy and the thousands of years old Chinese culture, it was precisely during his stay in China and Japan where he began to become conscious of the deep relationship existing among all the ancestral cultures of the planet, and to blend the essence of many of them in his paintings. Later on, while in Mexico, he became involved with shamans and sacred spaces, which confirmed to him the existence of subtle energies from which things are created before they materialize in our three dimensions.
We know that in the universe all vibrates and irradiates, sending and receiving information, and we are no exception. All that vibrates at our frequency rate affects our perception of reality, for good or worse. We are interacting with a lot of inputs of energy that surround us. That's why I paint as a yogi would meditate. It is sacred and I take care of my irrational state. That is what synchronizes the level of awareness from which we send, irradiate, but also tune into other vibrations. It's not only about taking care of what you think or what you eat, but possibly all the inputs that feed you. And basically, I feel love for the world and for myself. To love what I'm doing every moment. You know, it sounds mystical and even kitsch, but just think about what you feel when you play with a baby and enjoy the moment, charged with a lot of love, being in the now. And great scientists like Dan Winter, Nassim Haramein, Rafael López Guerrero, or Marisol González-Sterling, to name a few, demonstrate and explain the importance of our heart in our everyday life and the importance of fractality in our world. That's why I don't understand contemporary art which is centered against fractality. Works which deplete human beings of energy because of their materials or message are totally anti-fractal, or promoting obsessions instead of connection, destroying our essence instead of helping us to be connected to our inner self. That's to return art to its sacred place.
There was a time in which he perceived the art world as superficial and exalted only as merchandise, an empty art world where it had been forgotten what was truly important, the sublime, the sacred, the spiritual, and especially where love was no longer fashionable. For these reasons, Víctor Brossa withdrew and spent years as a hermit in order to cultivate his inner life and his painting. Now all this has changed. After finding the sacred sense of art, he decided to create by joining art and consciousness.
Kunst ist unsere natürliche Form des Ausdrucks. Und Kunst ist ein initiatisches Weg, der zu einer Begegnung mit uns selbst wird. Ein Weg zur Erinnerung an wer und was wir sind.
Da ist noch schon nicht die klare Kunst zu sehen, sondern etwas Mystisches. Da kann man selber sich reindenken und die Kunst eben verstehen.
Yes, of course. And this is not a metaphor. You know, when I paint, I do it with my heart. And leave that all just happens. It is actually in our hearts where everything is taking place, and although my hands are channeling the message of my heart, I feel then reunited with all that exists beyond comprehension. The reason for this is that the part of the mind which wants to control everything is not activated. It simply steps back from the center. There you transform in the wizard which can recover anything for you. That is how we create reality. Because art is an initiation which led us to a rencounter with our true self. It makes us remember who and what we truly are, our galactic place, our greatness and divine connection to all. That is why art is, like you and me, sacred.
Brossa does not commit himself politically or socially, but rather spiritually, because real change always comes from within. For this reason, returning art to its sacred place has become his main purpose in life and has attracted the interest of many in the work of this artist. An honest artist, full of talent, fearlessly talking of love, of consciousness or the soul, while keeping himself contemporary and innovative.
You know, in antiquity, artists were sacred characters which show it and special connection to nature and other dimensions. Artists were initiates which expressed from love, trained to create harmony and program positive and constructive messages directed to the subconscious mind of the community. But now, contemporary art or modern art, as we know it, seems to care more about feeding decadence of humanity, its obsessions and lower instincts. It leads to self-destruction. And only few talks about love in art. But to create without love is like doing anything else without love. It's only a shadow that we fit into a lifeless mirror in which we reflect.
The work of Víctor Brossa is bound to remind us that it is through the sacred value of art we engage with the true power of our heart.
Art is love, is life, or is not art. The art of the future is an art that serves consciousness and since the future is being created from the present.